San Diego Ball Club. They came back, though, here in the closing seconds. Rolf Bunner's got a 29-yard field.
For San Diego, we are underway. High kick by Barr. Brooks from his 10-yard line. And Brooks out to the 25-yard line. And already a scuffle has broken out. These two teams, quite frankly, do not like each other. Earlier in the year, it was San Diego 55-21 over Oakland. In the game played earlier in Oakland, Dan Fouts threw 6 touchdown passes, 5 of them to the big tight end, Kellen Winslow. But there has been a lot of conversation between these two teams. The owners, Al Davis and Gene Klein, tremendously at odds. We'll develop that during the course of the game. We are set to go. First play, offensively from the line of scrimmage for the Chargers. Chuck Muncie gets the draw call. Muncie gets outside and turns upfield. Gets close to a first down, and Chuck Muncie, also a question mark somewhat tonight. He missed most of the Tampa Bay game a week ago with a pulled groin as we look at the defensive unit of the Oakland Raiders.
And as you look at the Oakland linebackers, Al Cosell, as we follow through the Oakland defensive lineup, Al Cosell came up and told us a late development beset by the flu, a number of Raiders, one of them the brilliant linebacker Rod Martin. We'll see what impact that has.
Chargers with the single setback, and Muncie works again, gets the first down out of the 35 to the 38-yard line, and Don, we are going to see a lot of Muncie tonight. I know, either passing or running.
Yeah, you mentioned he'd been hurt, Frank, and he has been a big part. We've seen him when he first came here from the New Orleans Saints. We wondered ourselves how in the world they let a guy like Muncie go, but he's just that big back that they've been looking for. You were talking about Fouts and the kind of year he's had. It is really amazing to look at those statistics. He has 3 wide receivers who have gained over 1,000 yards. That's almost unheard of on the same team. He had the same guys last year that did that too, except for Wes Chandler.
On the 1st and 10, Muncie, right side, and this time Muncie cannot struggle. Even back to the line of scrimmage, he'll lose a yard. Muncie over 1,000 yards rushing thus far in the season. There is Tom Flores, wondering perhaps in this his 3rd year where the wheels came off.
Too late, they can see everything that happened.
2nd down, 12. The Chargers from their own 36-yard line. Fouts lost it up. Incomplete. Going out to Charlie Joyner. He was covered there by Lester Hayes. An interesting statistic, I think, defensively. Lester Hayes had 13 interceptions 1 year ago for the season. The Raiders' entire interception output for the year is 13.
No stickum.
Now they got smart. They quit throwing over in his direction.
3rd down and 12. The 3 wide receivers are in for San Diego. That, of course, means Dwight Scales, number 87. Fouts fires, and Scales does not hold on. It would have been at the 45-yard line of Oakland. That will bring up 4th down, the punting unit for San Diego.
But in on that play, Mike Davis, who's well again, and boy, did they miss him this year. You remember, Mike, the key play against Cleveland a year ago?
That ball was right there. That was an amazing throw. He came back to an alternate receiver, trying to go to his left, covered, came back to the right. Pretty good coverage over here, too.
Here is George Roberts, and deep is Ted Watts, the rookie, number 1 draft pick for the Oakland Raiders out of Texas Tech. We saw him on a great night against Pittsburgh a couple of weeks ago. Roberts, left-footed kicker, hangs it high, and off the side of his foot, and it's going to be good field position for Oakland as Roberts puts the ball out of bounds at the Oakland Raiders' 44-yard line, and it looks as though Jim Plunkett will be coming in. Yes, he will. He will be the starting quarterback, suffering as he is. He did not take part in the warm-up drill before the game, but he is going to be the starting quarterback when we come back. Chicago, and earlier in the season when the Chargers beat the Raiders 55-21. 1st and 10 following that 20-yard punt by Roberts. And here comes Art Whittington. Big opening left side, and Whittington roars into San Diego territory at the 48-yard line. 1st down.
Whittington has been reactivated. He will contribute little. He hasn't played for many weeks. He's been injured. And finally, Cliff Branch is not starting. He's subpar. And so the Oakland Raiders are not the usual Oakland Raiders. But this year, the usual Oakland Raiders have not been that good, as Al Davis will freely tell you. Frank.
1st and 10, Oakland. Just short of the 43-yard line of the Chargers. Here comes Jensen. And Derek Jensen is met at the 40-yard line, hit hard by Wilbur Young, who is starting defensively for Leroy Jones at left end for San Diego. Offensively, let's take a look at them for the Oakland Raiders. Howard mentioned Mark Van Egan is available, the all-time leading rusher for Oakland, but he has not played since the 3rd game of the season. He has had a very severely pulled hamstring. And right now, Jim Plunkett is looking over a 2nd down and 7. The ball resting just short of the 40-yard line. Plunkett goes out to Jensen, and Jensen made an effort, but he was hammered by big Lyndon King out of the left side. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Wilbur Young was the guy that tipped it, Frank, number 99, you see right there. And Wilbur's another one of those big mountains you got to throw over, 6'6". I think he's a little bit taller than that. Reverse angle on the other side, you'll see Plunkett set to throw, a little swing pass out to Whittington. And there's Wilbur. Jump up. Just barely tipped it. It wasn't Whittington anyway. As a matter of fact, it's Derek Jensen. And all of a sudden, a smashing tackle there by Lyndon King.
3rd down, 7. Chargers on a deal. Going deep. Intended for Malcolm Barnwell, who has started tonight in place of Cliff Branch. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down, out of field goal range, and we will see Ray Guy, the punter.
You'll see Glenn Edwards, number 27, come into the screen. He's kind of laying back there, right there. He looked wide open from up here, but Glenn Edwards is the guy thought he was going to get an interception. Had the ball been underthrown a little bit, he might have been able to come in and intercept it. Good defensive play.
Edwards, a great story in his own right. Cut earlier in the year, brought back a few weeks ago, and he's been a starter ever since. There's James Brooks, having a tremendous year, this rookie number 1 draft pick. Ray Guy has been kicking with a very bad back over the past few weeks. Looking for the left sideline.
And I think he got it. No, he just barely missed that thing.
Very close. And it will be a touchback. And San Diego will have the ball at their 20-yard line.
Let me quickly say, Frank told you Ray Guy's been troubled with a bad back, but he is now 100%. And in the face of the other injuries, Ray Guy should be a big plus for Oakland tonight.
Warm up. That is Ray Guy, the punter, a fine athlete, but he has not played quarterback much, I can guarantee you. Mark Wilson has that sprained thumb on the right hand, his throwing arm. Jim Plunkett, at this point in time, before the game, was inside, troubled with a flu condition, but he has come out to start.
That was a completion, though, too. See, that's the thing. The guy caught it. He caught Hawkins open there. Nice move, guy.
Pair of tight ends in for San Diego. 1st down and 10, 20-yard line. Chuck Muncie, single setback, up the middle goes Muncie. He is hammered there by Rod Martin. Gets perhaps 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Jim was taking oxygen just a moment ago on the sidelines. Remember? We were advised just before game time that Jim was hit with the flu. But he's starting, and off the year he had a year ago. You don't have to be told about his guts.
2nd down and 8. Chandler. Wide right. Charlie Joyner, top of your screen. Both of them over 1,000 yards on the year. Here comes Chuck Muncie, right side. Chuck Muncie hit first by Otis McKinney out to the 28-yard line, short of the 1st down by a couple. It'll be 3rd down and 2. And there has been quite a rhubarb out here regarding the quarterback of the San Diego Chargers, Dan Fouts, over this past week.
Well, there was an interesting news flap that extends far beyond Dan Fouts because it relates to the whole management labor strife in the National Football League. But he is not a union member, according to Mr. Fouts. He had not paid his dues. That was paid by a couple of fans. He is out there playing tonight, which is the essential, precise football matter at the moment.
3rd down and 2. Muncie, penetration. And then Mike Davis was up there from his strong safety position. It was Ted Hendricks first, however. forcing the fourth down and another punting situation for San Diego.
Now, right there, Don, you saw two of the strengths that won the Super Bowl a year ago. The ability of Hendricks to apply pressure, and then Mike Davis, so beautifully built as a defensive back with the ability to come up and make the kill.
Hendricks is the guy that I think really, he's a quality player there. He puts them all together, and he's been very disappointed with some of his teammates this year, and I think he really has missed Mike Davis, who we mentioned earlier has been out with injury.
On fourth down, Roberts, the left-footed kicker, had a net of 20 yards on his last punt. This is Ted Watt, has the time from the 35-yard line of Oakland. Flag is down. Watt still on his feet, back out to the 36-yard line. 37-yard effort this time by George Roberts. But again, a flag is down.
And it'll be against Oakland.
Could well have been a clip as Ted Watts was trying to work his way behind the picket line to the left. Our referee tonight will be Jerry Seaman, and there is an injured San Diego Charger down on the turf. Again, a sellout crowd of 52,000 plus. And as you can see, it will be marked off against the Oakland Raiders.
Talking about Ted Hendricks, Howard, I know you've really been a real fan of his for a number of years as we get the call here. Bob Rush was the injured Charger player. Bob Rush is coming off. But Hendricks, this is his 189th consecutive game. That's a little bit something about his durability, too. Not only is he a good leader, team player, Bob Rush, we see, is up and moving around there.
And following the penalty, the Raiders will have the ball at their 26-yard line on Monday Night Football. More than that, they are 10-3 against San Diego right here in this stadium. Oakland plays well away from home. 26-yard line, 1st and 10, no score. Art Shell and a left tackle now for the Oakland Raiders, the big man on the left side, number 78. Plunkett on 1st down is back. Just does get it away to an open Art Whittington. Whittington stepping out of bounds, but in big John Woodcock was really all over Plunkett coming in from his defensive right end position.
Shell has been hurt a little bit this year, and he's not played regularly, and he just left him standing. Shell made a move, and Woodcock went right around him in a hurry. No contest. He just barely got that ball off.
Well, Al Davis made an interesting point today. He said that Shell and Upshaw have been deeply hurt, as you look at Art Whittington's figures there, by the new offensive blocking rule. They just can't learn to use their hands after all this year.
Art Whittington on the 1st down, left side, out close to the 39-yard line for a gain of about 3. Glenn Edwards up there defensively for San Diego. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Frank, as an All-Pro and Hall of Famer, do you buy what Al says, that this is a very difficult thing for a great veteran to do, to change his whole blocking style under the new rules?
Well, it's been very difficult, and really for Art Shell, with the bad knee that he hurt during the middle of the season, working against John Woodcock is very quick. It could be a long night, but you're right. On 2nd and 7. Plunkett, wide open is Barnwell. And Barnwell inside the 35-yard line. Bobbled the ball, and San Diego has it. Pete Shaw hit Barnwell a shot, and coming up with the football is Glenn Edwards.
They're lucky there.
Barnwell had ran away from Mike Williams. Mike Williams will fall down, as you'll see.
Mike Williams, he trips. Barnwell has it. He has the best average gain per reception. And this is that rule. I guess he fumbled before the ground. I don't know. How can I say? It's a fumble.
And San Diego will have the football back. They'll be at their own 32-yard line. The veteran, Glenn Edwards, coming up with a turnover. We'll be back in a game, and he will tie the all-time NFL record of 26. That, of course, held by John Unitas, but he is 0-2 thus far in the night. Now, Chandler. And Chandler inside the 40-yard line of Oakland. He was wide open, this speedster from Florida. His 68th reception on the year. He, too, combined with his numbers from New Orleans, is over 1,000 yards.
Frank, he was open, but it also took a pretty good throw to drop it right over. You see Lester Hayes, number 37, right behind him. He's open. He had a step on him. That ball was, he didn't break strides, what I'm saying. He got that ball. It was hurt a little bit on the plate. Looked like he twisted a knee or an ankle. He's coming out of the ball game right now. Wes Chandler, he says he is so happy to be in San Diego.
Why not? Got a shot.
So Dwight Scales has come in, at least temporarily, for Wes Chandler. First down and 10. The ball at just outside the 39-yard line of the Oakland Raiders. It's Brooks and Capoletti now as setbacks. The screen, Capoletti. And it sets up beautifully, and Capoletti is close to another San Diego Charger first down.
Dave Browning came very close that time to getting one of those roughing the passer penalties. It was a screen. Dan Fouts went back, released the ball. Browning was already there. The referee was right on it, didn't call a play. But a screen pass is a weapon. Of course, if you're a big passing team, you've got to really set that one up. The screen passes usually work better on those good, strong running teams.
That's Scales, the top of your screen. The motion man is Charlie Joyner. James Brooks, and the rookie from Auburn. James Brooks.
Oh, wow. What a run.
Beautiful run of 29 yards, breaking tackles, and this youngster has really provided fireworks here for the San Diego Chargers all year long. He returns punts. He returns kickoffs. Good receiver. He is over 2,000 yards in all-purpose yardage.
What you just saw was the immediate striking power as we take a ground-level look at Brooks with this remarkable run of the San Diego Chargers. Clearly on the record in terms of points scored, in terms of passing offense. This is the finest offensive team in football. Their problems have been in defense.
He had a good clearing block, opening block by Ed White, who came out there. He did a lot of it on his own after he passed the line of scrimmage. As that extra point is good, and they lead 7-0.
Ralph Benerska puts it to the uprights, and there's the young man, broke tackles at the line of scrimmage. As Don pointed out, it was big Ed White who pulled around the right side like a truck. Well, Curly, I know you like it if you can hear us. Denver quarterback Greg Morton, they need Benerska. Bangs away. And bringing it out is Clee Montgomery. And Montgomery is nailed out over the 20-yard line. And we'll look down. I think we are seeing a new Oakland quarterback.
Mark Wilson.
Mark Wilson will be coming in. Jim Plunkett, we told you, was suddenly stricken with the flu. He did not take part in the pregame drills. Tried to go, and now apparently he cannot. So Mark Wilson, who had to leave the Chicago Bear game, a 23-6 loss a week ago, with a sprained thumb on his right hand, is the quarterback, the second-year man from Brigham Young.
Mark Wilson, you will find, is all right for throwing. His problem with the thumb now, because he's been recuperating, is taking the snap. Watch that.
That right hand receives the shot from the center when he pops the ball up on 1st and 10. Wilson going for Barnwell. Edwards had it right in his hands, dropped it.
Well, he didn't look all right.
Yeah, it was not too good. You're right. He got the snap okay. The throw wasn't too good.
And you can see that Mark Wilson looked at his thumb immediately after he threw the ball. He is flexing the finger now. He is rubbing it, as a matter of fact, right now. And it cannot be good for Mark Wilson. It hurts.
We may see Ray Guy before it's over.
We might. Yet it was the Barnwell fumble that turned this game. Plunkett's leaving the field, as you can see.
It's not been a good year for the Super Bowl MVP.
Nope. 2nd down and 10.
Ain't it funny how time slips away?
Frank Hawkins, the rookie out of the University of Nevada at Reno. And Hawkins works his way out close to the 28-yard line before he's hit by Lyndon King. It'll be 3rd down and about 4. The Oakland Raiders being directed now by second-year quarterback Mark Wilson. Pressure on Wilson. And he goes out to Bob Chandler, and Bob Chandler will have the first down. Chandler out to the 37-yard line.
Well, at this stage of the season, you don't have to be told all over again about these people, either as individuals or as to their talents, as you look at the play in isolation. Chandler's a remarkable story. He's a very great athlete. The ruptured spleen, the removal of the spleen, And the way he came back after that, all in 1 year. But they missed Cliff Branch.
37-yard line, 1st and 10. Off the right side goes Derek Jensen, and Jensen is hammered over there after a gain of about a yard. And the San Diego Chargers defense, which, by the way, has given up more yardage and more points than any other team in the NFL after 15 games, the only exception being Baltimore, is really playing some fired-up football tonight.
And that has not helped Jack Pardee's reputation, who came in as a defensive mastermind. They're going to turn this defense around. It hasn't been a good year for Pardee.
Well, he turned it around.
He did, man. He went from about the middle to the bottom.
Right in the old tank. On 2nd down and 8.
Takes a little time, I guess.
Quick feet by Frank Hawkins. The opening up the middle was closed off. Hawkins went to the outside, taken by Willie Buchanan, stopped out at the 43-yard line, and it'll be 3rd down and a long 3. Say, as we look at the 3rd down and 3, that the offense of the Chargers scores so often the other team gets the ball.
That's a nice way of putting it. Frank, you always find nice things to say. That's so nice.
Flag is down, and we could have the pass interference call. Bob Chandler working out on the right side. He was working against Pete Shaw.
There's a penalty flag on the field.
Injuries or just being beat out or whatever, so they're having a transition period. It's not paying off for them.
Mark Wilson passing a little over 48% on the year. Looks it over on 1st and 10.
Nobody's
a lot
open.
of time, and finally crawling forward and taking Mark Wilson is Woody Lowe.
Nobody was open that time. They really had him covered downfield.
He was right not to throw it. I'll say that.
At Woody Lowe, look at those. 127 tackles, 2nd on the team.
The loss is all the way back to inside Oakland's 40-yard line.
Interesting to see a linebacker come through, because among the San Diego defensive weaknesses is the absence of outstanding linebackers.
Well, Lyndon King is leading that league, though. I mean, leading the team in Woodrow Lowe.
2nd down, 19. Wilson chased out of the pocket. Scrambling upfield is Mark Wilson, and he is hammered at the 45-yard line. Short of the 1st down, but a nice pickup of about 17 yards for Mark Wilson.
A big gain, Frank. He must have studied Scott Bruner on that bootleg play against Dallas.
Rolled out to the outside. See a good block by Whittington, as a matter of fact, there on Lyndon King. Picked up the yardage down in the middle, not quite enough for 1st down. 3rd and long 2.
And Mark Van Egan comes in. He's been on the injured reserve. He wears number 30, the all-time leading rusher for Oakland. He's effective, or a healthy Mark Egan would be effective in a situation, but the ball goes to Whittington. And Whittington falls forward. It appears that he will have the 1st down. Lyndon King again defensively for San Diego. 2:44, and the clock is moving here in the 1st quarter. The Chargers on top, 7-0.
Yeah.
41-yard line, 1st and 10. Art Whittington.
Oh, Arthur.
Whittington nailed behind the line of scrimmage. Gary Johnson was there. Big Gary Johnson.
A couple of SMU boys got together there, too.
Let me tell you.
Louis Kelcher was the one that hit him kind of late, and Arthur didn't like it. 2 SMU boys. They don't do that sort of stuff.
Gary Johnson's effectiveness has been impaired by the loss of Fred Dean, which was the key loss. Chandler is a great athlete. Nobody derogates John Jefferson. He's a super player. But San Diego, with Chandler, who is a great athlete, didn't feel Jefferson's loss the way they felt Dean's. 2 positions affected in the pass rush. Both Dean and Johnson, they worked hand in hand.
Loss of 3, 2nd down, 13.
Well, that was Woodcock.
Wilson will go down
right there.
John Woodcock, and
Dean's
Art
replacement.
Shell is having a very difficult time with John Woodcock. And when Dean went to San Francisco, they picked up this man. He did not report to Detroit this past season. The Chargers got him for a 12th round draft pick, and he is probably worth that pick right here.
Frank, what he is doing is Shell really can't move over that left side. So Woodcock has his speed. He's giving any kind of fake to the inside or that hand shove to the inside. And with his quickness, he's coming around very quick, and he is going to cause some problems all night. Shell's not doing a very good job on it.
3rd down and 21. 2 sacks now for John Woodcock. That gives him 10 for the season. Ball is at Oakland. 48-yard line. Wilson has Chandler open. Chandler with a great pattern, drove inside hard, looked over his left shoulder, broke to the outside, and he takes it down to the 17-yard line.
He has a way of getting open, doesn't he?
He sure does. And you talk about a big play. This was it. And this is why the Raiders regard Mark Wilson as their quarterback of the future. He moved outside, gave himself time. He's got the mobility. Beautiful play.
Alan Ellis was a defender who there got caught up in the middle. Derek Ramsey, the tight end for Oakland, is their leading receiver this year. He was in combination situation on that pattern. Carried some people with him and left Chandler open to the outside.
At the 17-yard line of the San Diego Chargers, first down and 10. Barnwell in motion. Incomplete. Almost picked off. It should have been picked off by Bob Horn, the middle linebacker.
He was coming too low and too hard. Horn's not looking at him. Not used to looking at him that way. Ball could have been laid up a little bit. Might have had a chance for a score.
Second, Chandler in motion. There's pressure again. And